In a nursery where toys lay scattered about, a money box stood high atop a very tall wardrobe. It was shaped like a pig, made of clay, and had been purchased from a potter. A slit in its back, enlarged with a knife, allowed not only small coins but also larger ones like dollars and crown pieces to slip inside. In fact, the pig was so full that it no longer rattled, which of course was the highest state of perfection for a money box. Perched high above everything else in the room, the money pig looked down with a sense of superiority. He knew he contained enough wealth to buy every other toy in the nursery. This knowledge gave him a grand opinion of himself, and the other toys were well aware of his importance, though they chose not to mention it. A large doll, still handsome despite having a mended neck, lay inside a partially open drawer. "Let's play a game," she called out. "Let's pretend to be men and women. That's always worth playing." At once an excited murmur spread through the room. Even the framed engravings on the walls stirred in their excitement, accidentally revealing their unpolished backsides, something they certainly hadn't intended. But it was late at night, and the moonlight shining through the window provided free illumination for their game. Everyone was invited to join, even the children's wagon, though it was considered one of the rougher playthings. "Each of us has value," the wagon declared. "Not everyone can be a nobleman. Some must do the work." The money pig was the only one who received a formal written invitation. His lofty position made the others fear. He would not accept a mere verbal request. In his response, he stated that if he were to participate, he must be able to enjoy the performance from his own grand position. And so, arrangements were made. The toy theater was set up in a way that allowed the money pig a perfect view. Some suggested beginning with a comedy, followed by tea and an intellectual discussion, but the discussion came first. The rocking horse spoke of training and races, while the wagon talked about railways and steam power, subjects relevant to their respective trades. The clock chimed in with politics, ticking importantly as if he alone knew the true time of day, though there were whispers that he often ran a little fast or slow. The bamboo cane stood stiff and proud, boasting of his silver top and brass ferrule. Meanwhile, 2 embroidered cushions lay on the sofa, pretty but utterly useless. At last, the theater performance began, and the toys took their seats. They were instructed to applaud, stamp, or crack if they enjoyed the show. "I only crack for the young and unmarried," declared the riding whip. "I crack for everyone," said the cracker. "You certainly make a lot of noise," muttered the audience. The play itself was nothing special, but it was well performed. The actors, painted on one side only, took great care to always face forward. Occasionally, they stepped too far past the footlights, as their wires were slightly too long, but the show carried on. The doll with the mended neck was so thrilled that her stitches burst open. The money pig, greatly pleased, decided he must do something for the performers. He resolved that, when his time came, he would remember one of them in his will. Someone would be honored to be buried with him in the family vault. The performance was such a success that the planned tea party was abandoned, and they focused solely on their intellectual discussion, which they called playing at being men and women. It was all in good fun, after all. Yet, throughout the evening, every toy was most interested in what the money pig was thinking. He, however, was lost in deep contemplation, pondering his grand future, the writing of his will, and the day he would finally rest in his splendid burial place. That day arrived much sooner than he had anticipated. Without warning, he tumbled from the top of the wardrobe, crashing to the floor. He shattered into pieces. The coins inside, long trapped, burst free. The smaller ones spun like tops, while the larger ones rolled away as far as they could. The grand silver crown piece, which had always longed to see the world, at last got his wish. As for the remains of the money pig, they were unceremoniously swept into the dustbin. The very next day, a brand new money pig stood on the wardrobe in his place. He had not yet a single coin inside him, and thus, like his predecessor, he did not rattle. But this was only the beginning of his story, and so we shall make it the end of ours.